of Ghana's tragedy happened on the 16th of March 2026, where an aircraft took the lives of two young promising brothers. One question that Ghanaians were asking was, what really caused the accident? What happened on that particular day? Finally, we have the answer, so stay with me. Let's get into the story. So there is a term that is actually flying through netizens, and what they are saying is that we have a Job of our time, and the Job of our time is the man that we are seeing on the screen, Mr. Frank Donkor. Mr. Frank Donkor is actually the man that lost his two sons on the 16th of March 2026 during the Tema aircraft accident. Mr. Frank Donkor is actually the leader of Hebron prayer camp. And you know, after the entire incident happened, this man got the Job title because he exercised a lot of faith. You could see in his face that even if he is grieving, he is still trusting his God. But even with that, Ghanaians were really asking that what happened. So the AIB, which is the aircraft accident investigation bureau, actually sat down, conducted an entire investigation, and came up with 4 good reasons why the accident happened that day. And the 4 reasons were actually presented by Mr. Fodjo Paul, who is the captain for the AIB. Well, that is the Aircraft Accidents, Investigation Bureau. And he said that, see, the aircraft itself had a problem. It has some undiagnosed and diagnosed problems. The diagnosed problems that they knew was that before the aircraft sets off, they see some white fumes, some, white smoke. And sometimes when it's about landing, you see the same thing.
Undiagnosed malfunctions most likely worsen the malfunctions en route.
And that will walk us through our second reason. According to him, right, because of all these diagnoses that they did, they said that the aircraft had just one permit or some few permits. And the permit was that it could fly from Accra to Accra, from Accra to Ho. But to fly from Accra to Ho and then back from Ho to Accra was actually not permitted. So the aircraft leaving Ho on that particular 16th March back to Accra was not something that was permitted by the AIB. They didn't know about it, that the aircraft left here back to Ho and then went from Ho to Accra.
The aircraft had a test flight permit, which authorized the aircraft to operate from Accra to Accra, and the ferry flight permit, which authorized the aircraft to fly only from Accra to Ho. The pilot's decision to fly from Accra to Ho and back was not in conformity with the flight permit received from Civil Aviation, since no flight permit had been issued for the return.
And this is an important part of the entire investigation that they did for me, because for that we have an evidence to it. The investigation also made us realize that the pilot was actually in constant conversations on his phone while he was flying. There were times that he was engaging on his phone while he was actually flying.
Distractions due to persistent communication on his cell phone.
And this leads us to a video that his father actually made. When his father was narrating the entire thing, he said that, my son, I was talking to them, I was on a video call with them. He even told his brother that the brother should come speak to this video.
First time Nti we okwa e no mo sign contract, multi-million-dollar contract. Nti ofia all bano. Me wa brechi na me no kasa ofre me pa no afre nti omo be tunu no mo frɛ me. Nti wana me so e bia omo adu nti me frɛ won so da aka 5 minutes ye nam tema. Hwɛ mpoano okwe na hwɛ anayaw ketwa no e frɛ laja hwɛ laja wada na se laja da frɛ na laja nyane no se da ye si a bedi nkomo me no ye rough pa. Nti o se aka 5 minutes me friend no phone and kobium.
And this D or fourth reason stated by the captain, right, was actually stated after he was done with the entire, presentation. He went outside and he was interviewed, and he said that the entire thing was out of engine, the heating of the engine, which takes us back to the undiagnosed and the diagnosed malfunctions, right? He said that they realized that the entire engine started heating. So there was no control anymore. The pilots could not control the airplane anymore because of the overheating. That is what caused the accident.
The aircraft had an engine failure and ended up crashing, and that the pilot put himself in a position where he didn't have a choice but to attempt to land where he did. The aircraft was uncontrollable from within the last few minutes of the flight. Yes.
But Captain didn't leave us like that. He went ahead to give the aviation community the things that they should do, what pilots should do to avoid these kind of things, these tragedies befalling Ghana, that these things are not repeated.
Pushing and asking to be done to prevent any further recurrence is that there should be more of a light on general aviation practices here, so that because most general aviation operators are single owners and don't actually have an organization flying and so on, it makes it easy for them to tend to cut corners or to do things which an organized enterprise would not do. So we are asking that a bit more light should be thrown on them, a bit more education should go into their practices in Ghana, and so that we will have an avoidance of any such recurrence. Yeah.
Now let's look at why the plane even landed on the school premises, why it crashed at the school premises, right? Per investigations, the AIB said that after they tracked the entire incident, they realized that when the plane got to the premises of the school, when it was in the air, it was actually waving at the school the children that they should find somewhere. They should just get off the pitch. They should get off the pitch. He was trying to wave them, please get off the pitch. I am trying to, have an emergency landing. The students were actually waving back and saying hello, hi.
Where he had wanted to put the plane down, the kids were playing. So eyewitness reports tell us that he kept they kept waving from the aircraft at the children, indicating, which I guess everybody came to realize later, that they were telling the kids to leave the field. But the kids thought they were waving at them. So the kids waved back and then continued playing their games. So the pilot aborted that attempt and then decided to go around and come back again. But it was in the course of coming back that he must have lost his engine totally. Because obviously, like we said, 25 minutes to the time, we already knew that his engine was overheating. And so he must have known that he had a problem with his engine and was not sure he could make it. So that's why he wanted to land. But he thought he had more time than he actually did. So when the plane finally just failed, he didn't have the time.
And this brings me to an eyewitness account that we actually presented on earlier. He said exactly the same thing, that the pilot was actually waving at them, but they didn't know what he was saying, so they even thought he was saying hi back.
Okay. And I'm going to say, and a plane and a helicopter. A white chopper.
Yeah, that's small one.
A plane.
Okay. Guy no, the control now auto sack. Why? I think it was a big night when you not stop.
Okay.
Which is fault in the problem. And the one because why no so you be so auto sack me say into me say ticket je pay no mama na den into na e bad down e ba na e start bi o na o top no you no I saw that who say into na do me
in as much as this is a very sad story, this should never happen to anyone. If a family member chance on this video, I know that they are definitely going to shed some tears. But it's good that at the end of the day, at least we have a reason. We've received an analysis. I am happy that this is happening in Ghana, because most of the cases you will follow and follow and follow. You will not get to know what exactly happened, what were the reasons, what were the circumstances. But finally, we have a reason to hold on to, things that people will learn from. If you are a pilot, let's learn. Our lives are very important. This is a very sad story. Once again, our condolences to the family. This is Gossip 24. Kindly let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to also like and subscribe and share for your girl. The room is bright because my name is Light. Bye.